Okay, so remember, I told you just a few minutes ago, I equals the square root of -1, correct? So I just equals I. Just write I. Okay, I squared. Let's talk about I squared. Remember, I equals what? The square root of -1. Let's square that. Let's square this. What happens when you square a root, y'all? What happens when you square a square root? So I squared is -1. Okay. I to the third power is I squared times one more I. What is I squared? What'd you just write for that? -1. Y'all. What's -1 times 5? -5. What's -1 times pi? -pi. What's -1 times x? So what's -1 times I? -I. Oh, my favorite one. I to the what? Oh, what were we dividing by where I said it didn't change? We always divide by 4. Let me show you why. So remember, I to the 4th is the same exact thing as I squared being squared again. Remember, you multiply them. What's I squared again? -1. Yeah, what's -1 times itself? +1. I to the 4th is +1. So, we're going to do line division. Let's do 4. Write down with me. 4 divided by 35. Let's do this right underneath this problem. All right, guys. How many times does 4 go into 35? 8. All right, that's 32, right? We're going to subtract. 35 minus 32 is 3. We're going to write remainder 3. And it's all about the remainder. Let me show you why. All right, so what we did is we really changed the way the 35 looks. How many times did 4 go into 35? Okay. So that's 32 i's, correct? But we need 35 i's, so we had a remainder of 3. This is your 35 i's. We just changed the way it looks. What is I to the 4th? What is I to the 4th? Look at your chart at the top. What did you put for I to the 4th? 1. Yeah. What is 1 times anything?
1.
Really?
No,
whatever the anything is, right? It just kind of gets absorbed. What's 1 to the 8th power 1? This goes away. What's I to the 3rd power? That's the answer. This is -I. That's all it is. We're going to do one more, wrap it up. Let's do I to the 62. By the way, is this exponent odd or even? What is it?
Even.
So is it going to be a 1 or an imaginary number? It's going to be a 1. So let's do 4 divided by 60. 2. How many times does 4 go into 62? For the sake of time, I'll tell you it's 15. 4 times 15 is 60. We get a remainder of 2. So I to the 4th raised to the 15th power times I squared. It's all about the remainder. This part doesn't matter because that's a 1. What's I squared? That's it. That's the answer. -1. Remember, all of that is just a form of 1. And 1 times anything is just whatever it is.